What is going on, beautiful beings and conscious co-creators? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, tuning in, subscribing, and clicking that button. I really appreciate you guys so much. You have no idea. Today's video is going to be a universal, I said that word funny, a universal, what you need to hear right now, pick a card, okay? I am so excited to bring you this message. A little bit of a disclaimer. I call it a no fluff read or a no fluff reader, meaning I may not always tell you what you want to hear, but if you put ego aside, it may be something that you need to receive. So with that, I say ashe in opening this reading. Thank you guys so much for watching once again. I apologize for the obnoxious car noises you may hear. It's Friday, it's lit outside apparently. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and jump into the video. Timestamps will be in the description box along with every other thing that you may need to know. And if you have any other additional questions, comments, and concerns, my email is down there as well. Feel free. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and start. All right, everybody. So as I said, we are doing a universal what you need to hear reading. I'm very excited to see what Spirit has in store for you. But first, I need you to pick your card. So we're going to have this card here be group 1. This is going to be group 2. This is going to be group 3 and group 4. Like I said earlier, all of the timestamps will be in the description box. So as soon as you pick your group, feel free to head down there to click. The chapters should be on my video as well, so you can also use the chapters if you'd like. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and jump into it. I'm going to start with group 1, but I will see groups 2, 3, and 4 at your timestamp. All right, let's get started. All right, group 1, you are here because you are wanting to find out what the universal messages are for you. What is it that you need to know right now, where you are? What does Spirit have? And the first card that we have for you is meditate. I love that for you. If you are a returning viewer, then you know how I feel about meditation. It is literally medicine. It really is. I feel like those of us who have meditated appropriately, because I will say there is a way to meditate that doesn't render any effects, but if you meditate appropriately, and I mean, and by appropriately, I really mean the way that is designed for you, because everybody's meditation style is different. But instead of you going off of what someone else said and listening to someone else define how to meditate for you, when you journey and venture off and figure out what actually works for you, and you dedicate yourself to doing that on a regular and consistent basis, it is life transforming. Okay, and so you are in a season right now where you may have put that to the side, you may have stopped doing it. Spirit is saying it's now time to go ahead and start exercising that muscle. For some of you guys, you've never meditated. Again, the same stipulation follows. Spirit is saying go ahead and start. This is the time. This is the time. The time is right for you guys to start getting into a space where you can meditate. Why? Because meditation allows you to realign with your higher source, your higher self even. So a lot of times meditation can help solve answers that the outside world can't. I'll say it like that. Meditation can provide healing, solutions, dream interpretations. It can connect you. I don't want to go into details, actually. Let me not speak too much, but just know that there are things that are unexplainable as far as on a scientific approach that can happen when someone is thoroughly meditated up. Okay? It's a way for you to connect with the divine. It's a way for you to pray. It's a way for you to receive answers. I mean, there's so many things that are beneficial to us as divine beings that we get from meditating. It also keeps things in a perspective. Group one, meditation. And I'm sorry this sounds like a lecture now and a TED talk on meditation, but I really want you guys to understand meditation is what causes you to remember where things are and what this all is. Because when you can constantly connect to an extension of yourself, then you remember that, one, all things are possible. Even if people don't agree with you, you know just from sheer experience that if I can connect to an extension of self, and that source, that higher being that is outside of myself and outside of this reality, can deposit downloads, can give me answers to questions that I have, can connect me to my guides, can connect me to my ancestors, can give me instructions, can help me. Like there's nothing that needs to be logical about this process. This is all divine and spiritual. And I think Spirit is asking you guys to start tapping into that, or to begin again tapping into it. For those of you guys who were doing this and have fallen off, it is a thing that needs to be part of your routine, just like working out, just like eating healthy. Aromatherapy. When it comes to your energy and when it comes to your mood, I find that you guys are going to start being a lot more sensitive to smells and what I consider to be smell goods. I think that paying more attention to your environment and the parts of your environment that you can control when it comes to smells and scents. I think coming into this new season, start paying more attention. And I'm hearing particularly herbs and natural smells. So essential oils and using essential oils and candles. Some of you guys maybe could stand to start getting into candle making. But even if it's not candle making, when you purchase a candle, be more aware of the type of candle and the scents that are being, because everybody knows when you light a candle, there are scents and almost like fumes that come out of the candle. I think Spirit is saying be very aware of the type of scents that you are bringing into your household. Back in May Day, when I was doing May Day, I did a couple of videos pertaining to spirituality, and I talked a lot about candles and candle colors when it comes to candle magic. And I was also talking about stones, crystals, that you can use to, help strengthen your work, and even crystals that you could carry with you, compact crystals, obviously, that you can carry with you, that again kind of are constantly pulling that energy towards you and into your reality. When I think of where you guys are right now, I find that even the use of herbs and in the form of an essential oil is super, super important. And I actually think I may make a video on herbal essential oils and how to use that when you are trying to manifest or even just work in candle magic. I think maybe that will be helpful, because I don't want to spend the whole video talking about it, but like there are certain herbs that you that come in essential oil form that you can, if you are able to use them on your skin, for example, or if you're not, you can still work with them as far as for dressing a candle, or for even creating the candle to use for candle magic. You can put these essential oils, again, if they're topical, you can put them in your bath. If they're not topical, you can just put them in a diffuser, for example. And herbs have magical use, but they also have medicinal use, and you're probably more familiar with the medicinal use. So for example, lavender is used a lot of times to calm and soothe, and is also said to help those who struggle with migraines and headaches, right? So that's the medicinal use. And then, for example, lemongrass. Lemongrass is something that is used oftentimes in or in my magic practices, I'll say. But you can also use that in diffusers for, what is lemongrass again? I forget. I'll annotate it because I can't remember right now. But I can't remember for the life of me what lemongrass is used for when it comes to medicinal uses. But I'm saying that all herbs, for the most part, most herbs, not all, most herbs have dual meaning. And so the point of all of that is really just to say that I want you guys to I want you guys to start being more intentional with the scents and fragrances that you're allowing into your home, and correlate that with whatever it is that you are currently trying to manifest, whether that is love, whether that is, because if it's love, maybe you want to start smelling more sweet scents like vanilla, rose oil. If it is money, maybe you want to start using more scents like cinnamon. I'm not sure if bay leaf has an essential oil, but cinnamon, you can start using cinnamon, and not again, those are not necessarily essential oils, but the smell of it, like you can use cinnamon. You can create actually an herbal concoction in your household and fill it up with you can actually fill up that pot with this stuff, and then just have it brewing on your stove. I've seen people do it, and I think it's absolutely fascinating. And you can put in that pot, your cinnamon, your bay leaf, your orange peels, all things that would promote money coming into your life, So those are just a couple of examples off the top of my head. I apologize for not having the exact medicinal use for lemongrass, but all the more for you guys to do some further research, okay? What else, Spirit, for group 1? What do they need to hear right now? Nurture. It's about time that you start taking care of yourself. I see you as being someone that's incredibly giving, always worrying about other people, always trying to make sure other people have what they need. And it's about time that you start paying attention to your needs and your wants and your desires. It's very important that you remember that your cup must first be filled. We forget that so much because it's easier, and oftentimes it just makes us feel better to take care of everyone else. But then we don't ever really anticipate the side effects of leaving ourselves and our own, wants unfulfilled. We don't think about that, and we wonder why we burn out. We wonder why we get moody. We wonder why we're inconsistent. So now would be a good opportunity for you guys to start taking care of the things that you need to take care of, that and allow you to keep moving forward, because you are a giver at heart, and that doesn't need to change. But you also need to remember to give to yourself, to give yourself time and attention, to give yourself rest, to give yourself gifts. You can spoil yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. There's parts of yourself that need attention. And Spirit is saying it's time to start paying more attention to nurturing yourself. I see this being a master of emotions. I see this being a master of making sure you're operating in wisdom and not putting yourself in undesired situations just off of how you feel. A really good example of this, I see a lot. I don't have social media. I haven't had it since my birthday, and that was several months ago, and it has been absolutely refreshing. I still have YouTube, obviously, but like as far as the apps, all the other apps, I no longer have those. Sorry, I had to fix my chair. And I no longer have those. So a lot of the stories that I hear are usually like secondhand from like news sources and people that I follow on YouTube, right? So I was listening to this one video of this girl. I think she was doing a story time. I think the story originated on TikTok. I'm not sure. But she was doing a story time, and she was talking about how her ex dumped her and wouldn't believe her. He thought she cheated on him. She says she didn't, and so this caused her to, go crazy and be admitted into a mental hospital. And then when she got out of the mental hospital, she went back to her boyfriend and found out he was talking to her friend, and that caused her to spiral again. And I don't know, it was just like an ongoing horrible story of someone who lacks mastery of emotions. And I want you guys to basically get to the point where that's actually important to you. That's what I'm seeing, is that there's a need for it to be important to you. Important enough for you to decide, I don't want to be led by my emotions, because a lot of the times when an individual, especially someone who is still learning, who doesn't really have a sense of self, a lot of times when that person is led by their emotions, they get into a lot of trouble. We're not even going to talk about the fact that you should not be dating anyone if you don't know who you are. If you don't know who you are and you don't know what you want. I could talk for hours on that, because that is the quickest way to waste your time and that person's time. So I'm going to skip that, and I'm just going to go straight into emotional mastery and having that be something that you are dedicated to achieving. It's not going to be an overnight thing, and it's definitely something easier said than done. And it is going to require a high level of self-inquiry done every single day. This is definitely a practice. But when you practice something enough, you master it. And I want you guys to learn to get to a place where emotional mastery is so important that you can you look back, like let's say 10 years from now, you can look back and say, back then I used to just do the craziest stuff because I was so angry, or I was so sad, or so emotional, blase blase. And now, again, we're 10 years out, and now you can confidently say, even though I still have these emotions, they don't influence my actions as much. I remain in control of myself. I remain accountable of myself and my actions. And I don't allow anyone to take me to a place I don't want to be, because I know who I am and I'm certain in who I am. And even though I may be feeling these ways, I know that at the end of the day, the outcome may be an undesired one. So I'm going to choose a different road. I'm going to choose a higher route. I'm going to choose to eliminate that mess, that drama, whatever that is for my life, because I know that I'm better than that and it doesn't serve me. Like, these are the types of things that would come out of your mouth fluently as a person who is practicing emotional mastery. So the first card that came out says your commitment is being tested. This card is flipped out off camera. I'm shuffling off camera. So it says your commitment is being tested. And Spirit is wanting you to know that with everything that you're asking for, there will come a time where you will be assessed. People forget that when you manifest, it doesn't just come straight to you without a price, without an assessment, without a test. It doesn't work that way. Something is always happening, oftentimes opposite, somewhere else. There's this rule that we understand as practitioners that says as above, so below. And so it means that everything is connected. And even though we may not see it, it's still happening. And it's not as black and white as like good and bad, right and wrong. But it is understanding that everything that's happening has an opposite and equal reaction. And it may be happening to someone else, or it may be happening to you, or there may just be an actual price to be paid for what it is that you're asking to bring into your life. And so when I see your commitment is being tested, I see you needing to be prepared for that actual test. You may be in a place right now where things are just not looking right. Things are just looking difficult. They're looking rough. They're not going in your favor. You're struggling and you're just like, why? What in the world? Christians talk a lot about this in church when the topic of faith comes up. And that's probably one of the things that I actually do agree with, is that faith is not seen, it's felt. It's a knowing, it's an inner knowing that despite my outside circumstances, I have faith. Now, who they have faith in is where I begin to, disagree with. But I do admire the intense level of faith they have. And I feel like a lot of organized religions imprint that over their people, And I think that as we grow and evolve into understanding who we are as divine beings, there is a level of faith that must be applied to something that you believe in. It has to. Because that faith is going to allow you to withstand the times where you are being tried, the times where you are being tested. Then, funny enough, the next card that came out was a personal issue reaches resolution, because it's a test. It's not meant to be this permanent thing. Nothing is permanent. Nothing is permanent here. That's why there's a quote that says, "This too shall pass." I love that quote because it reminds me that in anything that I'm experiencing, whether it's good or bad, whether it's desired or undesired, nothing is permanent. Nothing is. And so again, there's this remembrance of what faith is, and faith is what keeps you going so that you can get to the finish line, whatever that is, in whatever way that can be. Now, when it comes to your relationships, group one, we have released your ex. The time has come to clear your energy. I think my Divine Feminine reading should be up before this video, so I will definitely link that below because it's important that you watch that video, at least, for my Divine Feminine audience. Your ex. Ooh, and then look at that. Worth waiting for. Divine timing is at work in your love life. It is time for you to stop giving excuses, is what I'm hearing, for other people. This is a you season. You're walking into a season where you may find yourself like physically on this plane alone, but it's so that you can focus and cultivate and master. It's so that you can get to the place where you are emotionally sound and secure and confident within yourself, where you are whole. And you can't do that with this mess over here. Your ex is mess. You can't do that with him over here. And you can't do that if you don't believe that you're worth waiting for. You have to believe that what you have to give, the love that you have to share, is worth waiting for the right person. See, when we step out of our own way and allow the universe to bring the person that's supposed to be for us in divine timing, when we apply patience to that part, a lot of times you end up getting exactly what it is that you desire. It's when we don't want to wait that we end up entertaining a lot of bullshit. I'm going to close out with a couple of tarot cards. Actually, I'm going to leave it there. That's quite beautiful. We have the Ten of Wands. I look at that card as a burdening card for you guys. It's time to release those burdens. It's time to release that guilt and that pain that you're carrying around. That emotional baggage, it's time to release that. And look forward to... I love the sun for you guys because the sun means hope. The sun means continuation. The sun means it's not over. The sun represents possibility for you guys. That happy ending is coming. And so I want you guys to, the word for you guys is restored faith. I want you to remember to have faith, not only in the process, but in yourself regarding the process. And know that everything is in divine timing. And it may not happen when you want it to, but it's going to happen when it needs to happen. And when it does, it's for you, and you can receive it as such. But I do feel like Spirit is wanting you to be ready for the love, the overwhelming amount of love that's coming into your life. And in order to prepare yourself for that, you're going to have to release some baggage, release some burdens, release the thoughts that don't serve you, release your ex and that mess. And I feel like also learning to commit to yourself. Because before you can commit yourself to another person, you have to learn how to commit to yourself. You have to learn how to fulfill the promises to yourself. And so if the promise is that, you're going to meditate, that you're going to love yourself, if you're going to make those commitments, which you should, it's about follow through. And it has to start with you first before it can start with anyone else. So that's your reading, group 1. I hope this resonated with you. If it did at any point, at any time, Ashe, I'm grateful for you. And I'm grateful for that message. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to go ahead and go to group 2, but I will see you guys in my next video. Okay? Bye, guys. What's going on? Welcome to your reading, group 2. As stated in the intro, we are here to talk about the universal messages that you need to hear right now. Okay, and also I want to point out that everything that is said in this reading is for the sole purposes of providing insight, clarity, and guidance. And also keep in mind that this is a general reading. I forgot to mention that in your in group one's reading, but I'm remembering to do it for you guys. So please keep in mind these are general messages. So there are things that may not stick, things that they may not resonate with you. That just means they weren't particularly for you. So take what sticks and leave the rest for the next. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. So the first card that we need to talk about is sex. So much to unpack here. A very simple word. So simple word, but complex topic. One of the things that I want you guys to consider is whether or not how you are expressing yourself in sex. This is kind of a double-edged meaning, because there are ways in which you can express yourself sexually that don't necessarily serve your highest good, but you think that that it's right, that you think that this is liberating, when really it could be harming you spiritually. And then on the other end, hold on. Sorry, my dog sounded like he was choking. Scared the crap out of me. Are you okay? All right, he's fine. But on the other hand, there are some of you guys who are actually quite the opposite, and you restrict yourself from being able to express yourself sexually. And a lot of times that can be from just your own possible insecurities or lack of confidence. It also could be a manifestation of things that may have happened to you by the hands of another person, whether in your adult life or your adolescence. Either way, there is a medium, there is a place where every single one of us can, sorry, I want to make sure my mic's not doing anything crazy. There is a place where every single one of us have a appropriate sexual expression for ourselves. Now, mine may not look like yours and yours may not look like mine. So it's very important that we do not judge another person when it comes to how they choose to explore and express their sexual desires, their conquests, even their sexuality at best. The point, though, is that you, for your own self and self-interest, explore what it is to walk that path, to walk in that way. You know what I mean? I feel like there's a lot of chaos and confusion when it comes to sex and what sex is and how sex is to be expressed and experienced. And the only thing I will point out specifically to you guys, group 2, is when it comes to sex, when it comes to you expressing and exploring, who you are in the activity itself of sex, know this. Number one, sex is not just sex. That's number one. There's so many things that happen on not just a physical level, but on a spiritual plane when it comes to sex. And so because of that, I want you guys to be mindful of who you are sharing your body with, especially women. It's very important that you understand, as a woman, your body it's a deposit. It's like a deposit account. When you have a deposit account and people put money, or you put money into that account, when you are a woman, you are receiving. You're on the receiving end. So that's why, even on a biological standpoint, we have, I don't want to use these words because I don't know what'll be permissible on YouTube. It's so retarded. But we have parts that are meant biologically to receive the parts of another biological male. So a female and a male fit together like a puzzle piece. And so even biologically, you can see how we are meant to receive, we are meant to take in. On a spiritual level, though, you have to keep in mind and give great concern to your partners, because who are you allowing to deposit into you? Because that, on an energetic level, matters. We wonder why. We don't think about it, but we wonder why, when we engage in sexual acts with another individual, why all of a sudden our life is chaos, why we're angry, why things are falling apart, when everything was fine up until that transaction, into that experience. Because that's what sex is. It's a transaction. And so when you mate or engage sexually with someone who is not equally yoked with you, your lifestyle, your belief systems, your desires, it can counteract and almost bring an imbalance to your life, because you're a deposit. You people, men, not people. Let me be very specific here. Men deposit into you, not just sperm, but also energy. Okay? And we take that and create not just a baby, but we create so much. Women are legitimately magic. First of all, let me just take a second. Okay, we're legitimately magic. We're the only beings on this planet that can take something and create a completely different entity. We can create entities. We can take a seed and create a tree, a living and breathing human baby. Like, I mean, and I get science is really trying to, like, you know, step in and say, we got this, woman, you can take a break. But like, women, we're programmed and designed to do that. So it's really something that we should take more seriously. And that's the whole point of my spell, is not to dissuade you from expressing yourself sexually. It's really to just ask the question of, you know, giving, well, it's not even asking a question, it's challenging you to give more of care and consideration to the person that you're choosing to explore this with, because some of us seem to think that it doesn't matter who the person is, and it really does on a spiritual plane. Like, you wonder why you have to cleanse so much, and it's because you're entertaining darkness, you're entertaining depression, you're entertaining, you know, you're entertaining just energies that you really don't want to, but you're allowing yourself to, because you're not thinking about it in the sense of, you know, what's actually happening on a spiritual level. And then, of course, there's sex magic, where when you have sex and you are trying to manifest something, you can use your orgasms to, when the concept is that when two or more people are in an agreement with a common goal or a desire, then that shoots out to the universe in a more, I would say, impotent way. And so, you know, when you find a partner that you can do sex magic with, things begin to shift, and not just slowly and stuff, but like a lot of times people see results quicker when they use sex magic. But again, that's not something that was designed. And I'm going to tell you that just because that's the download I'm getting right now, is it was never meant to be designed to be used in a reckless and an immature fashion. And so, yes, there's something so sweet and beautiful about having uninhibited, wild, like just, you know, crazy, ridiculous, fulfilling sex. But the person in which you do that with is just as important as the desire to have those things. I'm off my podium. What else for group 2? Sync with the moon. So, you know, if you don't know, the moon has phases, right? And I'm not the most profound when it comes to astrology or moon phases, for that matter, but I have been like softly studying it for, you know, about 2 years or so now. And I do understand certain things, like you've heard probably before in your lifetime, especially if you're out here from the South, you've probably heard, like, you know, the full moon causes, you know, be careful, it's a full moon, basically somebody indicating, like, you know, crazy people out. And it's because the moon emits energies, and certain energies people are more susceptible than others. And so, for example, the full moon emits this energy of kind of being more erratic, being more spontaneous, being more reckless. And, you know, also on a spiritual level, as I've been kind of learning more about it, I've realized that the new moon, for example, is a great opportunity to shoot out requests to source or the universe, God, whatever. The new moon is a good idea to start if you ever wanted to like start something new or change something, or start a journey or whatever, the new moon would be a really good opportunity for that. The new moon is also a good opportunity to send out, like, well, I said send out desires, but it's also a good opportunity to like send out prayers. And the full moon is the opposite. The full moon is a good opportunity to cleanse. The full moon is a good opportunity to clear out, to cast out. Those are all good opportunities to do that. So what I'm basically saying is, this card is basically asking you guys to pay more attention to the moon phases, pay more attention to how you feel in regards to those moon phases. A lot of people, I've noticed that there are more and more women are coming out and saying their cycles are actually synced with the moon cycle. And I want to point out two things. One, divine feminine is moon energy. Okay, that's why women are naturally more intuitive than men. And just as the moon cycles, just like everything else that just like everything else, even in Mother Nature, just like everything else has a cycle, we have cycles. Men don't. There's a reason for that. So, they say like if your cycle is connected to the moon's fate, like if your moon cycle is connected to the full moon, then I think they said that you're a natural magic practitioner, I think is what they say, or you're a witch or something. I don't know. Like I said, I don't really like titles, so I'm not gonna say witch. I think that's what I heard though. But I will say though that a lot of times the full moon and the new moon are really good for practicing certain things, along with just understanding the planets, the planetary aspects, along with understanding the energies that are associated with that. I think astrology in general is just a really, really field of study that most people in their spiritual walk should at least entertain. And so I think for you guys, this card's coming out and saying it may be a good appropriate time to start looking more into and studying more astrology and lunar phases and things of that nature. Now we have Love Abounds. I love that for you. So now we have Love Abounds. And I see a new opportunity here. I'm going to pull, thank you. Card wanted to come out. Awaiting results. I see love coming into your life. The universe wants you to know that there is a new love coming into your life. And this could be the person that you've actually been waiting for. This could be the person that you've been dreaming of. This could be the person that you've been writing down on a piece of paper and thinking about. I think this is the person that most people would say was worth the wait. I feel like maybe some of you guys have been in a single season for a minute now, and maybe growing tired, restless, impatient. And the Spirit is saying that your love is around the corner, and it is a true love. It's not just a fling. This is not seasonal. This is definitely someone who's going to take root in your life, and I think it's someone that's going to be really good for you. And that could also be the reason why you picked the group 2 in the first place and picked the card sex, which, by the way, I just noticed is number 44. And if you know, 4 is the number of stability and foundation. It's the first, if you actually took 4 lines and put them together, it creates a square. It's the first true sign of stability. It's the first thing that could actually be, it's the first shape of foundation, basically. I'll say it like that. And so I feel like, your love life in its entirety is about to get a complete facelift for the good, and it's something that you've been desiring. And I basically feel like the universe is saying that it's consenting to that, and it's happening for you. It's probably already happening, and you're just needing to connect to that frequency to actually experience it. So then we have you are good enough. Yeah, it says you are good enough. Super important to understand that, and I say this because what I'm about to say, I know I do this all the time, but I'm gonna say I'm about to explain it before I actually say it. I don't know why I do that, but you are good enough is telling you to remember who you are and to never forget who you are, never forget where you come from, never forget how you fought through, how you made it in spite of. Never forget that you are capable, that you are strong, that you deserve all of the love, all the joy, all the kindness that you believe you deserve, okay? You are good enough means don't ever let anybody on this planet treat you as if you're not, and don't ever let anyone rob you of your choice of deciding to implement that rule. That's a word. The next card says the end of a tough cycle approaches. And it makes me think about what I just said earlier about you spending a season of singleness and probably, getting really tired of that season. And so for me, that card is more of an affirmation. Well, I guess it could be an affirmation, but I was really thinking confirmation. That card is a confirmation that, this season of you struggling, of your dating life being shit, of you just being unsatisfied, unpleased, displeasure, even just on a sexual nature, just kind of maybe you aren't getting the type of interactions that you would want to have when it comes to the bedroom. I see that ending for you. I see you entering a phase of pleasure. Honestly, that's the word for you guys, is pleasure. I see you being very pleased, physically, mentally, spiritually. Yeah, I love that for you. This is definitely seeming like a good news kind of a reading. So then we have children that came out. It says your love life is being affected by children. Do you have kids? Some of you guys may have kids, and you're going to need to find a way to prioritize having you time. When this new love comes into your life, you're going to need to learn how to prioritize having you time and alone time, and establishing a boundary with your children. And then some of you who don't have children, this is something to keep in mind, because this new love coming in, it may want to have children with you. And again, it is about establishing boundaries. A lot of times I find that women will have children and then prioritize the children over everything else. And one, I get the reason why they do that, but you want to be very careful, because one, you're teaching the child, maybe indirectly, but you are teaching them that they will always, no matter what, come first. And of course we want to think that way because we're parents, but think about what that rule establishes for that little human that continues to grow and evolve. Now, there of course is a time frame, usually from the age of newborn to about 8 months, where that attachment, and I've been studying attachment theory lately. I may make a video on it because I find it fascinating. But from the period of a newborn to 8 months, yes, that attachment is perfectly normal, and you do want to create this sense of dependability with your child, so they know you are a safe space, they can depend on you, you are there for them, and they can count on you. So that is important. But I'm talking about the women who have 3, 4, and 5-year-olds who have not taught their kids boundaries. So their kids basically run the house. And so everything revolves around the kid. And the issue with that is that oftentimes, the relationships between the mother and the father, or the mother and maybe she's single and so she has a partner or she's dating, that always comes second to, if not completely, it's not even existing, because the mother has made this child her whole life. And to me, again, thinking in the long term, I don't know how beneficial that would be to constantly enforce that into the child's psyche, that the child is always going to be first, the child is always going to take priority, and that mom will stop whatever she's doing to make sure the kid, and again, this is, we're not talking like there's an emergency or anything. This is literally just the child wanting attention and the mother feeling like, if I don't stop what I'm doing and give my kid attention, terrible things will happen, when really we have to start beginning to allow a child to self-soothe problem solve for themselves, critically think for themselves, entertain themselves as well. And also understand the boundary of mom is here for you, but mom is also busy right now. Mom is doing something, dad is doing something, or whatever, what have you. So it's very important basically that you make sure that you establish boundaries with your children so they understand and respect you, not just as a mom, but as a person who has their own needs and desires. That may not be something you want to do, but I think in the long run, your kid will benefit more from that. Unrequited love. There's not enough attraction or chemistry to keep this relationship going. Yeah. Every single card is just reiterating over and over again, you are about to have a ridiculous time with this person. And I think that's why the card even came out for children, saying, hey, don't let your kids cock block you. That's what it's basically saying. Cards already coming out. Ashe, ashe. We have the star card. And we have the King of Cups. I love this. One, I want to say you're heading to this place where things are, you're tapping into a new level of love. You are about to walk into a love that you have never experienced before, but it is going to feel so right. It's going to feel so much in alignment. I'm talking, this feels like a soulmate. This feels like someone who's going to understand you, who's going to see you, and just they're going to get you. This is someone who knows you before they've even met you, okay? And I understand that this may not resonate for every single person because some of you guys may already have a partner. And to that, I would just say this message is not necessarily for you. I'm really feeling like those of you guys who have yet to experience this, and then there's also a possibility, just to keep in mind, I mean, I'm going to keep it a buck. It's also possible that you are not in the relationship that you're supposed to be in. And the relationship I'm describing is what's next. So I'm not going to entertain any plausible denial that, we always pick the right person when we oftentimes don't. So just to keep that in mind, that's what I also see from you guys. So with that being said, good news across the board. If this message resonated in any way, Ashe, I'm grateful for that. Excuse me. Thank you guys so much for watching Group 2. I'm going to go ahead and go to your sister group, Group 3, but I will see you guys in my next video. Okay? Bye, guys. What's going on, Group 3? Welcome to your reading. Once again, we are here to talk about what are the universal messages that are meant for you right now. What does Spirit have to say to you? And I want to preface this reading by saying everything said from here on out is with the sole intent and purposes of providing insight, clarity, and guidance. And I also want you to remember that this is a general reading, so everything may not resonate with you. If you want something a little more specific and tailored specifically to you, I suggest looking into getting a private reading done by, a reader of your choice. So we're going to go ahead and jump into it. The first card, the one that you actually picked, was Connect with Crystals. So you picked Connect with Crystals. There's something very healing and powerful about crystals. They've been used for probably centuries. We're just now rediscovering what crystals are and what they can do and how they help. And we're seeing that a lot more in mainstream media, which I'm really not even mad about, because it is bringing that awareness back that crystals are here to help us, and crystals do work. Crystals do help in our situations. Now, I'm not saying crystals are the end all be all and do nothing else, but to me, I look at it, and this is a really good way to explain it. I look at it almost as if, if there was a stew or a big pot of soup, And let's say I was trying to manifest something. Well, in this pot, I would add a lot of different stuff, and crystals would just be one of those ingredients that does not make the soup, but does not break the soup. It is a necessary ingredient, okay? So, not just crystals, but like my actions, my belief, my mindset, that all goes in the pot along with crystals, along with my candle magic. I put everything in the pot, and then I get to work. You know what I mean? And basically the idea and concept is that with all of these factors aiding you, it gets you that much closer to what it is that you're trying to bring forth from the vortex into your reality, okay? So, for this card to come out for you guys is saying whatever it is that you are trying to bring forth, whatever it is that you are trying to usher into your life and in your reality, perhaps utilizing crystals could be a big help and a big favor. One, you want to know what the crystal properties are. I made a whole video about how to use crystals in your candle magic and what each crystal, what the properties are, and I will link that in the description box. That's a really good starter. That's a good starting place when you are coming from a place of not really knowing much about crystals. I think it's very helpful. And so I'll link that for you so you can just kind of take a look at it. But yeah, you just kind of want to think about like where you are and where you want to be, and are there anything spiritual or otherwise that can help you, that you can utilize as tools, because that's what a crystal is. It's a tool and a resource. What are those tools that you can use to help you bring that closer and closer into your life? Then we have Dream Journal. So it appears to me that some of you guys are about to start having more and more active dreams, waking dreams. If you haven't had that before, your dreams will start to feel very real and realistic. And a lot of times they feel that way because they are real to some extent. Sometimes we hop into and from one place into another reality, or even on the astral plane, like we can just kind of move around a little bit. Sorry, I feel like something was in my mouth, which is weird because I haven't eaten today. But I feel like whatever it is, and also not you keep in mind, but I'm thinking about how we and my husband just finished binge watching the OA again for the second time. I think we're probably going to watch that like once a year. The OA on Netflix. If you haven't checked it out, please check it out. It's amazing. Super deep. I'm really mad it got canceled. Anyway, Dream Journal's coming out, and it's just like, hey, start tracking down what you're seeing, because these really may be visions, these may be downloads, these may even be instructions on how to get wherever it is that you want to get. I always say, for some reason, for a lot of us, it's easier for spirit to communicate with us in our dreams, because we get so defiant subconsciously in our waking life. I don't know, it's something about being in like a deep meditative, almost like hypnotic state when you're asleep, where you can receive instructions easier. But when we wake up and that theta begins to come out of us, like where we cycle out of the theta state, we don't retain it. And so spirit is saying start writing down what it is that you dream as soon as you wake up. Keep a journal next to you, and as soon as you wake up, jot down what you saw, what you heard, what you felt, what was told to you, blase, like just write it all down. It may not make any sense now, but who knows, 3 months from now, you could probably, I don't know, I've heard people get lottery numbers doing this. So you never know. I don't put anything past anything. That's what I say. What else for group 3? Ooh, love that. Shine and flow. Remove the resistance out of your life. I'm going to talk about flow really quick, because love this. I talk about water all the time, and how water is unrestricted. Water just moves. Water doesn't go against anything. It just kind of moves effortlessly. A lot of you are probably making things harder on yourselves just because you're in your own way. You think it has to be done a specific way, and because it's not, you get really kind of affected by that. And those of you guys who have control issues, this card is saying, let go and let it flow, basically. It's saying, be like water, basically. I feel like a lot, I feel like the stress and anxiety that you may be experiencing, some of you may be experiencing at least, a lot of that really could be remedied just by saying, you know what, everything that's for me will stay and everything that's not will leave. And I need to find tranquility with it all. And that means that I am not trying to be overbearing or restrictive. I'm not trying to walk in front of a wall over and over again when I know that that's not the path for me. And if I don't know the path, I will sit still until I hear a word from spirit, universe, or God, whatever you call your higher source. And shine is coming out and telling me that you just need to work more on being yourself and being authentically you. Shine is saying that no matter what your surroundings and your circumstances look like, have an unwavering belief system that as long as you are okay and you seek joy, everything else will work out for your greater good. I also want to point out that I feel like some of you guys need to walk more into what you came here for. I feel like some of you guys already know why you're here. You're just not doing it. And I kind of feel like that card is kind of saying you need to step into alignment with yourself and you need to do what it is that you feel you're called to do. It doesn't matter if it doesn't make sense. First card says, look at the bigger picture. Second card says, hold your vision. I literally just said some of you guys need to walk into your purpose and be in alignment with that. Some of you guys already know why you're here, or you just figured it out and you're scared or you're worried or you have no idea what that looks like. You can't it causes you, more than likely whatever your purpose is involves you having the least amount of control right now, and that scares the shit out of you. So you would rather just remain in your comfortable setting, which is basically the same thing as being stagnant. And Spirit is saying you need to remember what this all is, and when you remember that, technically speaking, this is probably going to upset some people, but this is all a dream. This isn't, it's real, but it's not. And I heard a quote yesterday, and I don't know what I was watching. I can't remember right now, but someone said, the only thing certain is death. That's it. That's the only thing certain. That's the only thing that you have to do is die. That's it. Everything else is choice. Everything else is choice. And so how you spend your life from birth up until death is full of choices, lessons, and experiences. And how much of that are you robbing from yourself just by fear or lack of control? And so this card is saying you need to remember the bigger picture. You need to remember why you're here. You need to remember that your problems are not as big as they seem. And you need to hold firm to what it is that you believe that you were supposed to experience in this life. This card came out. And then this card came out. So the first one says separation, and it says time apart from your partner is on the horizon. So some of you guys may be taking a break from your partner. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's much needed. I feel like some of you guys may have grown a bit of a dependency. Like I said, for some reason, I feel like you guys have control issues, and you may be trying to do that even within your relationships. So you separating yourself from them to give, everybody needs time apart. It's always good to just be in your own energy. Doesn't necessarily mean the relationship's over. It doesn't necessarily mean that you'll never be together. It's really not about that. And again, those people who make their relationships their end all be all, I get concerned about. Not to say that that's a bad thing or a wrong thing, but I question the intentions, basically. Then this other card says, is it safe for you to love? Open your heart and give and receive the highest energy of all. The highest energy of all, this card is saying, is love. I'm not sure if I necessarily agree with that when it comes to energy and frequencies, but I will say, though, that love in all forms, not just I need love from someone else, but also understanding that you have to first learn to give and accept love from yourself, from you to you. Okay, and I know that we are now making self-love a mainstream thing, and again, it's one of those things where I'm like, once again, I love that for us, because we do need to go back and remember that we matter to ourselves as well. Like that's not a silly thing. You know what I mean? Like you if you're not okay with you, and if you are not your best, if you are not your biggest fan, then you are putting yourself in a very precarious situation, because what if everyone else is not available? Who's going to hype you up? Who's going to speak life into you if no one else is available? If everyone walked out of your life right now, would you be okay? And if you answered honestly, no, I would not be okay, that means that there is some work and healing for you to do. I'm going to close with some tarot. Six of Wands, Queen of Cups. The things that you are about to discover within yourself is going to put you in a new place of it's really the self-love that I'm feeling like, and the lack of resistance you have towards your journey and your process is going to put you in a heightened place where you have more control over your emotions, and you understand that the need to control everything was just a defense mechanism that no longer serves you, and so you're a lot more allowing. And through that process and through that journey, I feel like you're going to receive a lot of not just recognition in the sense of other people coming in, but I feel like within yourself, I think you're gonna feel more like yourself. I feel like some of you guys don't feel like yourselves. Like you don't, like there's a disconnect between where you are right now and where you're supposed to be, and how you think right now and how you are supposed to think. And I feel like there's going to be a merge and marriage of you finally understanding and recognizing what it feels like to be in alignment, and how through alignment things just come to you easily and quickly. I mean, I'm talking whatever it is that you feel you need in order to survive and experience this life the way that you need to, whether that's money, stability, whether that's safety, whether that's health, whatever that is, because everybody's different, but whatever that is for you guys, group 3, I feel like there's going to be this connection that happens throughout this process. You're on the precipice of a process, of a specific journey. And the universe is saying, 1, caution, but 2, get ready. This is what's happening for you. And it is in your best interest, and it is for your higher good. So that's your reading, group 3. If it resonated at any point in time, Ashe, I'm so grateful for that. I appreciate every single one of you guys that watched and watched to the end. So thank you guys so much for that. I'm going to go ahead and go to the final group, group 4, your sister group, but I will see you guys in my next video. Okay? Bye, guys. What's going on, group 4? Welcome to your reading once again. We are here to give you the universal messages. What is it that you need to know and hear right now? Now, with this reading, anything that I say from here on out is with the intent of providing you clarity, insight, and guidance. Of course, please keep in mind that this is a general reading, so there's a possibility that not everything I say will resonate with you. That's okay. Take what you need from these messages and leave the rest for the next. As I always say in my head. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Go ahead and do that. I don't want you guys to forget. So, we have why was I about to say graduation? Write a gratitude list. Love that. Okay, if you are new here, I talk all the time about gratitude. I believe that gratitude is one of the biggest, easiest, quickest mood boosters you can get. Whenever you're in a slump, whenever you're just feeling really like just low, just like I'm in a bad place. If you can take a second to find 3 to 5 things that you are grateful for. And every single person on this planet has 3 to 5 things that they could be grateful for. Sometimes some people may have to dig a little deeper. Some people may not. Life is funny like that, but at the end of the day, everyone has the opportunity to find some sort of joy in this life. And so this card is basically saying, take a second to start practicing the ritual of having a gratitude list. So that's literally something simple as taking a piece of paper and writing down, jotting down a couple of things that you're grateful for. And they could be as small or as big as you want them to be. There are no rules. This isn't a test. Like, you could be grateful for your dog. You could be grateful for your figurine collection. You could be grateful for your figure. You could be grateful for the food in your refrigerator. Like, it could be anything. But when you start to recite, let me slow down. When you start to recite the things that you're grateful for, especially out loud, you'll begin to realize that, the thing that you were so down about or upset about it kind of lessens the significance of it, because what gratitude does is put things into perspective for you. Okay? So gratitude is one of the names of the game when it comes to your reading. The universe is asking you to find gratitude more and more. Make an altar. So make an altar is coming out now, and I've really been thinking about making a video on how to construct an altar, a basic how-to video, because of course this is a personal endeavor, and you can't necessarily instruct someone or a bunch of people off of one concept when everyone's altar is going to look and feel and vibe differently. So I don't know. I may or may not do that, but either way, you guys are being called to construct an altar, and what an altar basically is a specific place designed somewhere in your house, and it can be as big or as small, as simple or as elaborate as you want. Like I said, it's really tailored to you and the purpose of the altar. But it is asking that you have a dedicated space somewhere in your living area, no matter how big or small that area is, where you can, and this can be an altar that you can take down or keep up. It really doesn't matter. It depends on your preference. But it is a sacred space, and it's a space for you to sit down with yourself and come and basically you can meditate at this altar, you can pray at this altar, you can provide offerings for example, you can provide offerings for certain spirits at this altar. You can provide offerings for your ancestors at this altar. You can do magic, like candle magic or other types of different forms of magic at this altar. Like, the altar has a lot of different uses, but I definitely feel like you're being called here to construct something that you will have a dedicated workspace for when it comes to your spirituality and your belief system. A place in your house that you can either set up, or like I said, you can make it, you can take it down when you're done or keep it up all day or whatever, but a place where you can just like sit down and just focus on that, and it's something that's separate from the rest of your house. The rest of your house does not go on your altar. It's dedicated and designed specifically for specific uses. So yeah, I think having an altar, in my opinion, because I have an altar in my house, and when I move, I'll probably have another one for a different reason. I think that they're important because I like having a dedicated space. So right now, my space is very small right now. Well, right now it's small. We're about to move, but because there's a little bit of, we've outgrown this space basically. So there's a little bit of dysfunction when it comes to like the furniture, because we're about to move very soon. So we're, there's a lot of like things that are all over the place, and we're about to start bringing in boxes and things of that nature. But my altar is the one space, and my husband knows this, like the altar is the one space that is not touched. Nothing touches it. That is my sacred space. That is the space that I do my ceremonies. That is the space that is my space. So basically I don't allow anything over there except the things that are supposed to be on that in that space, on that space. So I suggest that you guys kind of do the same thing. Some of you guys may have felt inclined to do it and don't know. I hope I provided you some information. If you have any additional questions regarding this card specifically, my email is in the description box. Feel free to shoot me an email. I'm very responsive, or at least I try to be. I am for the most part. What else for group 4, please? Let's see. What's at the top? Release and rebuild. I'm sensing this need to purge, this need, and not purge in a, I know we have taken that word and associated it with a lot of negative things and like, eating issues. I know a lot of times that word is connected, but purge is, on a spiritual sense, very necessary. Sometimes as spiritual beings, I'm trying to get right in my chair. Sometimes as spiritual beings, we are backlogged. We're clogged up with energies that we need to release. And so a lot of times there is a spiritual cleanse that needs to happen by way of a bath, by way of a candle ceremony, by way of taking in specific herbs, like ayahuasca, for example, is a really good way to cleanse. What else? I was gonna say something else, but the point is that all of these methods are meant to kind of release or purge or expel dormant energies that aren't serving you, things that you don't want to carry with you anymore, things that you are now made aware of that don't serve you. It's basically taking it off, removing those layers that don't need to be there, that are blocking you. Okay, if you notice in this card, as soon as he takes off his sweatshirt, light begins to illuminate. It's coming out, and it's like he's finally able to we're finally able to see him, because the whole card is dark except him. And it's like the idea that when you release these things, these toxic thoughts, these relationships, when you release all things that are not serving you, you are able to not only see better for yourself, but the people that are meant to see you and meant to come into your life and help you can now see you as well, because you're not weighed down and distracted, and I like to say the word boggled all the time, but you're not boggled down with just unnecessary mess. And so it's funny, because it's like, as you purge, now it's time, because now you have empty space. Now it's out of your system. It's out of your energy field. So now you build that back up with the things that are supposed to be there. And so I think it's very important, actually, that rebuild came out as well, because it's like now we're in a place where we're going to rebuild ourselves back up. We're gonna put in the relationships that are supposed to be there. We're gonna put in the behavior patterns and the thought processes and the belief systems that are supposed to be there, because we just shed, big word here, shed off all of that negative, unserving stuff. We got rid of all of that. And so you want to put in its place the things that are supposed to be there. So that's happening. That is a thing for you guys, group 4. That card wanted to jump. What is it? The answers you need are coming. I see this card and I feel like there's contact that's going to be made, group 4. The universe is trying to contact you. The universe is trying to talk to you and connect with you on an ongoing basis. I feel like spirit in and of itself, and even probably your ancestors or your spirit guides, they're all trying to reach you. There's messages that are needed to get to you. And so it's almost as if you have a voicemail that has messages, but you don't know how to check those messages. And maybe you want to check the messages, maybe you know it's there, you just don't know how to connect. um I think that's a really good reason why an altar would be so appropriate, because like I said, this altar would be constructed in a way in which you would feel comfortable sitting down and meditating, lowering your defenses, and allowing yourself to basically be open to what spirit has to say, and open to the messages that you need to receive. Because whatever it is that you're asking for, I feel like answers are trying to get to you. They're en route, trying to come to you. And I guess the universe is wanting you to make sure that you're open to receiving them when they come. The next card is a new start is coming. That's a word that I feel like is a constant regarding these cards, is that you're about to enter into a new phase. And I think it's going to be a phase where you're a lot more spiritually sound. You're a lot more intuitive. You're a lot more dedicated to not just your belief systems, but your life within the belief system. You're able to kind of walk in a more intentional fashion. So I see you guys heading towards a new journey where some of you guys are literally about to how do I say that, Spirit? How do you want me to say that? I feel like some of you guys are on the precipice of an awakening yourselves. And so, with that is going to come newness. With that is going to come a new level of perception and thoughts. It's going to come with it probably is even going to come with a different type of desire. Things that you wanted to do before, you may not necessarily want to do now. Passion. Allow your heart and your soul to sing with joy. A lot of that's going to come with a realization that the thing that you may have thought before was your passion is really not, and really what you want to do is this stuff over here. So it's like, I feel like you're about to become almost like a new person. Honestly, that's really what it sounds like. It's like new you, who this? Unrequited love. There's not enough attraction or chemistry to keep the relationship going. And then some of you guys are going to probably interact and meet with your partner for life, your life partner, someone that you care deeply about, and someone who cares deeply for you. That may be specifically for the singles, may not hit every single person, but I do feel like even if you are with someone, you may meet another person who just gets you. If you guys have seen Grey's Anatomy, because I don't know any other way to describe it for people who this is not romantic in nature, but if you've seen Grey's Anatomy and you've seen like old school Grey's Anatomy and you remember Meredith and Christina's relationship, I feel like that's what I'm speaking of. Like someone who just gets that person, and someone who like cares about that person as a whole. That when Christina was like, you're my person, like she meant like at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, I know I can count on you. I know that you see me, you love me, you accept me, and you have my back at all times. And I feel like for those of you guys who this may not necessarily reflect in your romantic relationship, maybe you guys are already spoken for, in a relationship or whatever. So for those people, it may be a Meredith and Christina type of relationship that I'm speaking of. You may be on the precipice of attracting a best friend, someone who's gonna love you unconditionally. A soulmate doesn't necessarily have to be romantic in nature. It really could just be someone who just sees your soul and connects with it, and you connect with theirs. So 5 of Cups, again, you are walking away from a previous life. Okay, you're walking away from how you used to be. 5 of Pentacles here. So 5 of Pentacles is like, let me clarify. Hold on. Let me not jump. Hold on. What's the 5 for? What's the 5 of Pentacles for, Spirit? What are we trying to say to group 4 with the 5 of Pentacles? I'll take that one. So what I'm seeing initially with the Five of Cups is that there's a bit of an attachment that you have to certain things, and like I said, you're about to embark on a new life altogether. Basically, that's what these cards are saying, is it's a completely new life, and the attachment you have to your old life is something that you're going to have to release, basically. And we have that word back here, release. So you're going to have to release that, the attachment and the expectations that you had for your old life, and be open to a new life. And again, release and rebuild were the words that you had, and I think it was by design that they came out for you. Now when it comes to the Five of Pentacles, I feel like this is how I feel. Some of you guys may be money is a big thing for you, and I think it's because of what you attribute to money. It's because it's not necessarily the money itself. I think you're looking at status. Six of Wands is here. But what you really need to understand is there's something else in the cards for you that's going to bring you true happiness, and it's not money. It's not money at all. And maybe the lack of money, or the lack of you experiencing having money, is going to get you to understand that there are other things that are more important and greater than tangible stuff. Some of you, I think you guys may have a lot of earth sign in your chart, and maybe that's why that aspect of you is so important. Or it also could be that because you in a past life didn't have any money, it's so important to you now. But I do feel like you're actually supposed to experience the joys in life that are not connected to having money. Not saying you won't have money, but just, I think that the idea is that spirit is, and I'm saying we, like all of us, but spirit is wanting you to put your attention elsewhere, and not necessarily on the money, but instead the thing that sparks the most joy and pleasure in your life. And it may not be something that brings in a lot of money. It may be something that, you struggle for money at the beginning, but I think that, making the right decision to do that, because some of you guys, there's something that you maybe want to do, and I'm looking at passion again, and it's like there may be something that you're really passionate about doing, but you have no idea how you're going to make a living doing it. And this card is saying, don't worry so much about the money. I'm going to read some more here because I feel the urge to do it. So your reading may be a little longer. Three of Wands flew out. Three of Wands is the embarking card. The Three of Wands is the blueprint either. If you're an oldie, I used to say it all the time, like Three of Wands was the blueprint for me. It basically means that what does it mean? Three of Wands is basically you looking out and assessing the journey before you take it on. To me, I look at this card as a confirmation of this new life, this new journey that you're about to take on, you're about to embark on. Everything is going to be new. And I think that really Spirit is saying it's up to you to decide whether you're going to take the old routines, habits that didn't serve you, and bring them in with you. And if you do, I feel like hardship is going to come, because it's not about the money. But if you bring that idea and that concept with you, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle. It's about passion for you. It's about pursuing your passion, pursuing the thing that the thing that really just gets you going. You know what I mean? And keep in mind, like I said, this card comes out and it's like there's a new start coming. There's a new beginning for you. Now, when it comes to money and you're like, what am I going to do about money? Again, we're referencing back to the cards that already came out, group 4. The answers you need are coming. When you have questions about how you're going to be sustained, how you're going to go to your altar, speak with Spirit. Stop thinking so much about the world in this 3D matrix type of way. Consult with your higher source, your higher power. Okay, you've got to get out of survival mindset. You've got to get out of survival mindset. You cannot be poverty minded and embark on this new journey. I'm telling you that right now. If you do that, you're going to experience this hardship. All right, so I hope the message helped. Again, no fluff reader over here, but I tell you what you need to hear. If the reading resonated in any way at any point, ashe, I'm grateful for that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate each and every single one of you beautiful beings and conscious co-creators. I'm going to go ahead and sign out, but I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.